Welcome everybody to yet another coffee time with Hako, the show where I have my morning coffee and then I yap off into the void. Well met, and today we're having another latte, just plain old boring mug. But what did I want to yap about today? Today I want to yap about why the hell is nobody using the best support set in the game. So, to be fair, I've also been super guilty of this. When Caesar was released, she was released with a disc set called Proto Punk, right? Let's take a little bit of a look at it. 2-piece increases shield effect by 15%, and I think here is where everything, kind of went wrong. Because all of us kind of saw this and like, okay, this is meant to go on Caesar. Then 4-piece, when any squad members triggers a defensive assist or evasive assist, all squad members deal 15% increased damage, lasting 10 seconds. 15% increased damage across the entire team, that is exactly what Swing Jazz does, although the requirements are different. Proto Punk requires you to do an evasive or defensive assist, which is probably the easiest trigger in the entire game. So a defensive assist is when you switch into another agent just as you're about to get hit, just as the enemy flashes yellow, yeah? Meanwhile, Swing Jazz's requirement is launching a chain attack or ultimate. That is a hell of a, that's a tall order in comparison. And I've set out to do some testing with this. And generally, Swing Jazz has an uptime of about 0 to 20-25%-ish, depending on the content. So the total span of an encounter, depending on the encounter, I managed to get this to some encounters this doesn't even have a time to proc. And sometimes it procs at the very end, or it takes a while to get going because a chain attack and enemy needs to get stunned in order to do that. And most of the top teams that we run these days are anomaly focused and doesn't really incorporate a stunner. I guess Lighter is a little bit of an exception to that. But generally we do not bring too many stunners with us. So chain attack isn't really gonna happening, and as of right now, the live servers, your supports aren't gonna be ultimating. It's gonna be a very rare scenario when you have Lucy or Nicole or Rena doing your ultimate instead of your DPS. That's almost never gonna happen. So what I found is that Swing Jazz is almost never active. Meanwhile, on Proto Punk, the general uptime you can keep on this is about 80%. So why the hell is nobody running this set? So there's one character that runs this set, across the board. Caesar. Everybody seems to be running this on Caesar, which it's good. She's definitely a good wearer of it. But if we look at, say, Rena, nobody runs Proto Punk. Not a single person runs Proto Punk on Nina or Rena. Everybody instead runs Swing Jazz, which is fair, but most of the time we never see the 4-piece of this, except in very niche content. Let's look at Nicole. A lot of Swing Jazz. No Proto Punk anywhere to be found. What other supports do we got? Lucy. Same here. 4-piece Swing Jazz. And now I get that a lot of people, feel like running Proto Punk on a character like Lucy would be a little bit of a waste since they can't make use of the 2-piece anyway. But the thing is with the support sets like Swing Jazz, we don't really use them for the 2-piece, do we? We use them for the 4-piece, and if you still want the 2-piece effect, we can get that. If we look at Lucy, her most common one is running a 2-piece Hormone Punk to get a little bit more attack, but reaching her requirement is absolutely doable without doing this. So instead, what would actually create a bigger buff for the team would be putting Lucy on a 4-piece Proto Punk instead of 4-piece Swing Jazz. And then you can have Swing Jazz, the 2-piece. And what surprised the hecking hell out of me is that even on Ceph, people aren't really running Proto Punk. 15% of all people are running it, but most people are still on Ceph that can even make use of the extra shield. They're instead running Swing Jazz. So am I. Listen, I can explain it. So I've done a lot of testing, but usually my Ceph is on a Proto Punk set. And you might be thinking, like, you know, with the new set coming in the PTB, which then that's kind of when I noticed, like, hey, why are we talking about swing jazz versus astral voice when Proto Punk is the king of the hill when it comes to like any sort of support set, simply because the trigger is so easy. The new astral voice set that we're getting in the PTB is going to have a requirement of you doing a quick assist, and that's something mostly supports can trigger. Bernice and Ceph can also trigger it, and there is a video where I'm like deep diving into this new set and like comparing it to the others, so like stay tuned for that, because I've tested it out like extensively. But like still, Proto Punk is the king because it is so easy to like keep up. So yeah, the new set is whenever you do a quick assist, you will get a 8% damage increase to one character. It is the character that's being switched in. This can stack up to 3 times, so you can get a 24% increase in damage. But stacking this one is a nightmare, and no character can like do it alone. So mostly you'll be running at like 1 stack, 2 in the best case scenario if you play accordingly. So that's gonna give you like a 16% increase in damage for a short little burst of time until the buff falls off. Meanwhile, most content in the game having Proto Punk constantly active is no problem at all. Now, swing jazz does have like a benefit in certain teams because the effect triggers when an enemy gets stunned, right? As of now, on the live servers, your supports are never ultimating, so swing jazz is getting a like indirect buff in the 1.4, since even your supports can do ultimates. But the chain attack, it happens when an enemy is stunned. So if you're running a UGN team with a Xingyi, for example, and say that your Nicole is running swing jazz, like that makes a lot of sense because you know because UGN is very dependent on her stun windows, and like with this you make sure that the buff is applied at her very critical and like crucial moment. But like I said, most of our top teams nowadays are anomaly like focused, anomaly run. So like people running swing jazz on those teams that in general doesn't really get to see their chain attacks, and if they do, like it is kind of what ends the combat. Like it's the final final big boom. I think maybe should take a little bit of a look at Proto Punk, even if 2-piece goes wasted. The 4-piece is swing jazz, but like you get basically 5 times more value out of it because you can have it triggered much more often. So yeah, that were my 2-piece, and like I said, like I've been sleeping on this fact as well. I kind of looked at it and said like, oh, this is nice for Ceph and Caesar, and then I just kept on trucking. It was when I started comparing the new set with swing jazz, so I was like, hold on a moment. Let's look at Proto Punk. Let's look at this goddamn uptime, and like let's compare it. And like, Jesus Christ, yeah, why isn't more people running this? So hey, maybe I'll convert someone to be a Proto Punk believer. If so, let me know down in the comments. And 1.4 is soon upon us, and dude, I've been on the creator beta server and I've been working my ass off. I have so many videos like done, ready to go as soon as the NDA and embargo on it lifts. So peeps, stay tuned for that. I'm super excited to see you. I'm super excited to show you what I've been working on. But until next time, Hako out.